So thank you everyone for joining my Maximize Your Membership presentation today. And today you're going to be learning about how to get the most value out of your membership as a Halifax Chamber member. So jumping right into it, a brief overview of what the Chamber is. So we're the largest English-speaking chamber east of Montreal, and as well as in Atlantic Canada. So we have lots of members, lots of people to connect with. We have over 1,985 members made up of small, medium, and large business. We do have 17 full-time staff, membership based, and we're a nonprofit organization. So we're not a government body, though we do have a good relationship with all three levels of government. So we are politically objective and nonpartisan. This is a nice overview of our team. It's just good to see, put a face to the name. So when you see us at events or you're emailing us, this is who we are. Great team. So each of us have different roles within the chamber. So myself and Carrie Tench work in membership along with AJ Simmons. And then, we have Nick on policy with Kent, Josh in sponsorship, Emily primarily works on Business Voice as the communications coordinator, so on and so forth. So if you ever want to get in touch with one of our staff, all of our emails are on our website, specific to what we do here at the Chamber. Getting into some housekeeping. So as a chamber member, you have an account and then you can have a number of staff on that account. So the Member Information Center is where typically the primary holder of the account, whether it's the CEO or executive assistant, or if you're a solopreneur, you are the CEO and you manage your account through the MIC. So this is where you can update your logos, your company description, your contact information. You can also add or remove staff on the Member Information Center. You can purchase event tickets at member pricing here. So you have access 24/7. If you don't have a login, feel free to reach out to me in membership and I'd be happy to set you up. So moving over to the member directory, kind of from the Member Information Center, a natural flow to the member directory. So the information that you upload there, like I said, your logo, your about us, driving directions, your contact, primary contact, this will all be found on the member directory page. And it's important to have this complete and up to date, just so people know where to find you, how to reach you. But on the other end, you can also go on our member directory as a member, look at different categories, connect with other chamber members, and it's just a great way to get exposure right away through your membership. So jumping over to advocacy, I'm going to hand it over to Nick, and he's going to go over the advocacy with everybody.
As Joel said, my name is Nick. I'm the Senior Policy Analyst here with the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. I work on our policy and advocacy team along with our VP of Policy, Kent Roberts. We are a small but mighty team. And, first I just want to thank everybody for hopping on the call today. I think it's really cool you guys taking the time out of your day to try to learn how you can maximize your membership. There's a ton of stuff that we do at the Chamber. It can almost be a little bit overwhelming and there's a lot to take in, but today, I just wanted to take some time to talk about how advocacy works at the Chamber of Commerce, just because I think it's one of the more misunderstood aspects of the Chamber of Commerce. Initially, as Joel said, we're the oldest chamber in North America. We were founded about 250 years ago. And the reason we were initially founded was so that merchants in Halifax could advocate to European countries for Halifax to become an economic trading hub between North America and Europe. And still today, 250 years later, we're advocating for Halifax to become, a great hub and a place to invest and do business in. So when it comes to advocacy, we advocate at all three levels of government. Primarily, we're focused on municipal and provincial advocacy. Our 2,000 members are primarily located in HRM and across Nova Scotia. But again, because of our size, the number of members we have, and our influence, we do have the ability to advocate at the federal level as well. So helping to push our policy objectives and initiatives for the Atlantic region, for Nova Scotia and for Halifax, which is not something that every chamber of commerce across Canada has the ability to do. So it's a pretty unique ability that we have here at the chamber. I don't think I can change. Next slide, Jules. So, when it comes to advocacy, if you look at the right side, I think this is the aspect of our advocacy roles that I think a lot of our members see, and it's the aspect that you guys get to engage with a lot, and that's our events. So, Jules will talk about it. We host about 100 events a year. A lot of them are politically focused. We host municipal officials, provincial officials, federal officials. We had the Canadian Prime Minister last year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get the new one out again this year or in the near future. But this is a really important aspect of our advocacy. It allows us to not only have a chance to hear what these key decision makers are saying, what policy direction they want to take, which helps inform our policy development process. But it allows us to talk to them, ask them questions, highlight some of the biggest challenges that we're hearing from our members, from you guys. And the other important aspect of this is that it allows us to forge those relationships with these key decision makers. And that's a huge important part of the advocacy process. I think some people always think that it should be a combative process, but the ability to forge these relationships and have these strong connections with these key decision makers is actually what allows us to become a much more powerful voice when we're advocating on a specific issue, or if there's an issue, we become kind of a trusted voice for them to contact us to ask, hey, what does the business community, what do your members need? And they trust that we're going to give them an informed, logical recommendation from challenge that they face. Looking on the left side of this graphic, I think this is a part of our advocacy process that's less apparent, and that's all of the background efforts that we do when it comes to the policy development process. So, looking at the top one, there's a picture of our CEO Patrick at City Hall advocating ahead of the budget deliberations. The middle one is myself and Pat at the Province House advocating on legislative changes during law amendments. And the bottom one's a picture of our policy team working with a coalition of chambers from Atlantic Canada to try to push some federal policy recommendations to those decision makers there. So while on the surface and, the events that you guys get invited to and get to attend, you see us, chumming it up, I guess, with the key decision makers, there's also a very active part of our policy process of us, working behind the scenes and helping to shape policy as well. Next slide, Jules. You can find all this information on our website. I've been taking a lot of time to try to update our advocacy webpage so that it's a little bit more clear if you guys want to explore what that looks like. But I just wanted to touch on this. So we have some strategic advocacy initiatives that we primarily work on. These are things like, becoming more economically competitive, more affordable, having the infrastructure we need to support that growth. And, when you go through these and you read about them, or if you look at our reports that we put out, like our pre-budget submissions, a lot of the recommendations we have in there will seem very broad in nature. And there's a reason for that. When it comes to advocating for our 2,000 members, we have members in pretty much every different sector that you could possibly think of. And so it becomes challenging to advocate on one specific issue in one specific sector without necessarily alienating our members in other sectors. So when you see some of our broad initiatives, a lot of those are, community-based initiatives that we believe will recommendations that will help as many businesses across as many sectors as possible to try to just turn our community and our region into the best possible place to invest, grow, operate your business, and also live, work, and grow your lives and grow your families as well. But that's not to say that we can't address specific issues that are impacting your business or your sector as well. Next slide, Jules. So, there's a bunch of other ways that our policy and advocacy department tries to add value for your membership. We do economic reports quarterly. So let's say you're working with a client who may want some information on the local economy, reach out to us. We publish these. But again, if there's specific data points you need, let me know. I can do some digging in some online databases that we have partnerships with. We do policy briefs, so we try to, every once in a while, if there's a hot topic, we may do a brief to try to, just provide some background and information on the situation. We put together guides. We also do special projects. So if you look on the right side, we have our SME transition to net zero. We recently got some funding to do a study 2 years ago to try to find out, what's the experience been like for our members to transition to net zero. And from that, we just received funding this year to help support our members. If you're interested in wanting to turn your operations towards net zero, we now have funding through a partner that we can do sustainability and sustainability assessments and studies for your business as well. So again, we sometimes will do these special projects through the advocacy department if there's funding available. If you're interested, reach out to me after. We can talk more about it. And the last one that I just really wanted to highlight here, the last bullet, and I think this is an aspect not always well understood, is, if you're having that specific policy recommendation issue, or if you're having some sort of policy barrier issue, you can reach out to us, let us know what it is, and we can escalate that with our contacts. So a great example that I like to use is if anyone knows the Oblady Wine Bar down on Barrington, the building that they were in was under construction. The construction company had a bunch of scaffolding outside their building. It was really impactful and obstructive. It looked terrible. It was preventing them from getting their patio put out. They contacted us. They said they weren't having any luck with the city. We connected the owners with the CAO of HRM at one of our events. And I believe in weeks, the city took action. They then were able to open up their bar. They removed some of the scaffolding and tried to pretty it up so that, to try to mitigate the impacts of the construction. So that was just one example of, it's not necessarily something that may be included specifically in a report that we put to the province ahead of their budget, but behind the scenes, we can connect you with those key decision makers. And again, that comes from all the years that we put into building those relationships. So again, if there's something, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. Next slide, Jules. So the last thing I'll talk about is just if you're interested in getting involved in policy, there's a number of ways you can do it. I wanted to highlight our advisory council. So if you are interested in some of these community-based issues and policy development process at the municipality or the province, we have a group of about 25 to 30 engaged members. We meet virtually about 8 to 10 times a month. We discuss kind of emerging economic issues in the community. They help us formulate our recommendations ahead of the provincial and municipal budgets. And then also sometimes if there's, a topical issue, for example, tariffs, when the tariff situation was escalating with the United States, we brought on provincial officials who were in charge. They explained, what are the impacts, what is going to be the provincial response. We do a Q&A with them and then have a discussion with the group who helps us formulate our policy directions on that. So if you are interested and you have time, feel free to reach out to me and I can provide more information. Surveys, I know they're a pain in the butt. I don't love them either. Even as an economist, I rely on them heavily, but it's still the easiest way to talk to our 2,000 members and get information from you guys. This really helps us understand what are your challenges, what do you guys want us to advocate on. I promise I always try to keep them to about 5 minutes, no more than 10 questions. But this is the way that we gather information from you. And if you don't engage with that, the only information I can work with is those who engage and answer those surveys. So I promise to keep them short. Some of the other things we do chairs breakfast, we do roundtables. So the photo above is, a photo of just what some of those roundtable discussions look like. A lot more intimate. You get to sit around a table with about 20 to 30 folks. And then sometimes we have some, federal officials who will come down and want to talk about a specific issue and engage you. So keep an eye out in your emails. We'll send out invites every once in a while when one of those pops up. And again, the last thing I just want to leave you with is please reach out anytime. My email's on the website, my contact number's there. If you have a specific issue, we can help. If there's a topical conversation you just want to nerd out and talk about, I love doing that. I'm a policy wonk, so love to chat and just provide more information. But that's kind of the quick and dirty overview of advocacy, and I'll turn it back over to Jules.
So jumping into marketing and exposure. So there's lots of opportunity to market your company both through paid and free opportunities. So one of the free ones would be our member-to-member marketplace. So this lives on our website. Currently, we have about 95 offers, and this is where members share the love with other members. So you can upload a discount or added value to get, build revenue and grow revenue within your company. But you can also share and get discounts at places like hotels. You can see there the Wanderers tickets. You can get 20% off soccer tickets, discounts to Bermuda through Bermuda Air. The marketplace is changing on a consistent basis, so it's really important just to go on there, check it out. Each offer has a different way to redeem as well, so make sure you just click on the offer, and then it might be a URL redirect link, or you might have to call the company and provide your member business name. But it's a great way to save money, like I had mentioned, and a great way for you to get exposure. We also promote these in our newsletter. So it's just an additional way to get involved with the chamber in a free way. So the Business Voice magazine is our flagship magazine. It goes out 8 times a year. It's in print and virtual, but it's all member-driven content. So only members can contribute to Business Voice magazine. We have 2 sections, a section called Members in the News, which is 100 words and a photo, and then we have trends. So this is something going on within your industry. It's 500 to 600 words. You can have multiple photos and headers. You just want to make sure if you want to get in trends, because it is longer to meet those deadlines. We do have our media kit online, and I'll link it as well. Yeah, you just want to make sure you meet the deadline. Great way to get exposure. And it goes out to about 5,500 people 8 times a year. So the opportunity for reach and engagement is huge. So I encourage you to do this. It's a free member benefit, and you can just upload your Members in the News or Trends piece right on our website. Another way to stay up to date with chamber news, but also get further engagement as well as exposure through the chamber, is our newsletter. So our newsletter comes out every Wednesday around 10 a.m. And it's if you're not able to look at every area of our website on a consistent basis, which most people aren't realistically, the chamber e-newsletter is a great catch-all. So it has chamber upcoming events, the policy and advocacy work that we're focusing on. There's also a section called Featured Member, where you as a member just send me information, 50 words, a photo, and a link of what you want to promote or talk about. There's really no limitations here. You can put a job ad in. You can see Center for Women in Business here had a coffee talk that was virtual. So they had a nice graphic. They put 50 words in there and then a register call to action link. So we rotate these every week. So if you want to go in the featured member, just send me the information. We'll schedule you in. But again, the newsletter is a great way to stay up to date with chamber news and content. We have about 6,500 subscribers and about a 40% click open rate on average. So people are looking at this, they're reading it, so use it to your benefit. Make sure you're reading it as well to stay up to date, so you can make sure that you're coming to chamber events, you're up to date on our advocacy work and what we're doing, as well as the featured member. Social channels, another way to stay involved with the chamber. We post on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Periodically, we'll repost for members as well, but just a great way to ensure you're staying up to date with what's going on and getting the value. So moving on to networking. We host over 100 events a year with the chamber. I think in 2025, we looked at it and it was about 118 events. So out of those, let's say average 100 a year, about 80 of them are free. So if you're a small business or you have a limited budget or those barriers, or you just want to engage in a free event, there's lots of opportunity to do that, through our power lunches, so training sessions, our business after hours. Typically it's networking, anywhere from 60 to 100 people come. A great way just to get engaged, meet new people, shake some hands, exchange some business cards, create those lasting relationships in a quick and easy way. We have our new member night. We have training as well. I think I already mentioned that. And then we do have signature events. So our Halifax Business Awards, our Spring and Fall Dinner, Wonder Women, and Small Business Week, as well as luncheons. So these are paid events. Typically, there's a keynote speaker, and you sit down, you have a nice lunch, you chat with people, or an evening, you have a dinner, networking, reception opportunity, get dressed up. There's some of my favorite events because I love getting dressed up and connecting. But yeah, lots of variety there when it comes to events. So if you're ever looking for something to do, check out our event page on our website, and you'll be sure to be able to get out in a few days at a chamber event if that's what you're looking for. Jumping into professional development. So what's great about the chamber is perhaps you don't have time to get out to events. This is something that I hear in membership. I don't have time, or maybe the distance is too far, or maybe you just don't really want to go to events. You can take professional development training through the chamber. So we partner with Labor Skills and Immigration to offer members free training. Both full day training as well as 10-week programs, 3 hours a week. And by the end of that 10-week program, you get a certificate. It could be anywhere from Excel, leadership courses, communication courses, proposal writing. 2026, we're focusing on AI quite a bit. So if you're interested in learning more about AI and how to relate that to your business and optimize it the most you can, stay up to date with our training opportunities. Some training opportunities are paid, but most of them are free. And specifically for small business as well, you get special rates for that. Jumping into cost savings. So we've gone over events, we've gone over ways to network at those events. We've gone over marketing, and now jumping into cost savings. So how can I save money through the Halifax Chamber? So we work with 8 companies, the first being Chambers Group Health Plan. So this is a national program. It's offered only to chamber members exclusively. And if you're looking for a new group health, so health and dental, for yourself or for your company, you can explore that through the chamber membership. They have a great app called Teladoc, 24/7 access to physicians. You can put in your prescription order, pick it up, they'll bring it right to your door sometimes. But it's just a great opportunity to, have that ease of mind when it comes to group health. We also partner with TD for our preferred insurance provider for home and auto insurance. So we have about 780 members on the TD insurance exclusive coverage with the membership. So if you're a TD client already, please call them. Tell them you're a chamber member with the Halifax Chamber and what business, and they'll most likely give you an additional savings. But if you're also shopping around, you can check out the special TD insurance link. Drop down, I believe it says if you're part of any organization, you can put in Halifax Chamber, and go through the process online and just explore the different options of how much that would cost you. We work with CUA to provide banking opportunities for members. So this is on a business, individual, and nonprofit rate. So added values, perks, and whatnot when you bank with CUA as a Halifax Chamber member. We work with Bald Insurance as well to provide business insurance. They're a brokerage just in Bedford, so a local company. They work with over 40 insurance companies to provide, different rates and options. They also have a great program for non-for-profits. We work with Sona to provide merchant services. So if you have an online website or you're doing point of sale, you can get discounts through Sona. Again, another great local company. They're in Larry UTEC. Great team, always answering the phones, helping you troubleshoot if your machines go down or online. We partner with Grandin Toy to provide office supplies discounts. So you can get up to 25% off, pens, pencils, notebooks for your team, cards, coffee machines. They have a great laptop refurbish program. So if one of your laptops goes on the fritz or you have a new staff member, and you can't afford, a $1,500 laptop, they have a great laptop refurbish program that you can get through your chamber membership with Grind and Toy. Avison Budget is a favorite amongst members. So this is car rentals. So it's North America wide. It's personal or professional rentals. So if you're traveling over the holidays or in the summer, you can get special rates, anywhere from 20 to 50% off. And then we also work with Esso to provide gas cards. So you can save 3.5 cents per liter if you're using the Esso gas card. So book your rental, save money there, and then get the gas card, go on your trip, and you're gonna save money. So getting immediate value out of your chamber membership. And then finally, chamber bucks. So every member gets chamber bucks when they sign on with the chamber. Whether you're in your first year or third year, you probably have chamber bucks on your account. In your first year, you get your admin fee back in chamber dollars. So for example, say it's $100 admin fee when you sign on, you get $100 in chamber bucks. And then every consecutive year up to the third year, you get 50 chamber bucks as a renewal, as you renew with the chamber. So these can be used towards advertising through our business voice or newsletter or website, or event tickets. So if you see a luncheon and it's a $90 ticket and you have 100 chamber bucks on your account, you can apply that, and then you're good to go to the event essentially for free. So make sure you're using your chamber bucks. They're definitely underutilized, but it's a great option to save some additional money through the chamber. And then finally, it's your chamber, your say. So the chamber wouldn't exist without members. So I always like to take this opportunity to thank you for being a Halifax Chamber member, for supporting your local chamber. But at the end of the day, use us for support. If you're a small business or a large company and perhaps you need advocacy support, we can be your voice for that. Or you need to connect with someone in an industry and you're unable to connect with them, reach out to us. And most of the times we have a relationship with that company you're trying to reach, so you can use us to your benefit and extend your reach there when it comes to your voice. So thank you so much for joining on the call. I hope you got some value. And if you need more support or want to have a one-on-one call, don't hesitate to reach out to me. My number is 902-481-1228, or you can email me at julia@halifaxchamber.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.